On the eve of our engagement, Gabriel's first love came back. Without hesitation, he broke up with me. Stella, I could never fall in love with a substitute. As long as she stands there, you've already lost. I didn't argue or make a scene. I packed up overnight and left his house. He blocked my way and demanded, "Do you seriously not feel even the slightest emotional reaction toward me?" It wasn't until the necklace around my neck was broken that I finally broke down and cried. He picked up the photo that had fallen out of it, only to see that the man in it had strikingly similar features to his own. I wiped my tears and answered him. Because, Gabriel, you're a substitute too. Chapter 1. When Gabriel proposed to me, his first love, Julia, burst through the door. By coincidence, she was wearing a dress in the same color palette as mine. Even more coincidentally, she looked somewhat like me. She walked in quickly, grabbed a wine glass from the table, and hurled it at Gabriel. "Gabriel, you've got some nerve. You kept saying you loved me, and then you turn around and propose to another woman? And you even went out of your way to disgust me by finding a knockoff replacement. What the hell is wrong with you? You said that as long as I came back, you'd always be there waiting for me. Is this your promise?" By the time she finished, Julia's bright and striking face was already covered in tears. Gabriel didn't dodge the glass. It grazed past his brow, leaving a cut. Thin streams of bright red blood ran down his face, eerily vivid. My heart trembled. My fingers slowly curled inward as I quietly looked at him. Gabriel seemed to be deliberately avoiding my gaze. He said nothing, just looked at Julia and let her vent. Let her destroy every carefully arranged romantic decoration in the room. Someone tried to step forward to stop her, but after a brief pause, Gabriel stopped them. Let her. I'm the one who wronged her. But in his eyes, there was no guilt, only deep indulgence. After smashing everything, Julia ran out in tears. In my heart, I silently counted 1 second, 2 seconds. When I reached the 3rd second, Gabriel chased after her. Chapter 2. The room fell into complete silence. Everyone turned their eyes toward me. Some looked at me with pity, some with schadenfreude, and more with mockery. I remained seated on the sofa, silent. Gradually, whispers began to spread through the crowd. If Stella had any sense, she'd step aside on her own. She was just a substitute to begin with. Now that Julia's back, what place does she have left? Stella is obsessed with Gabriel, like, completely whipped. Even if a mosquito bit his face, she'd worry about it for ages. You think she'd actually break up? Didn't Gabriel say it himself when he was drunk? If it weren't for her face, he wouldn't even spare her a glance. She has no parents, no background. 5 years with Gabriel, wasn't it just for the money? Break up? Please. I bet 10,000 she won't. She'll cling to him like a leech and never let go. Chapter 03. When Gabriel came back, there was already a bandage stuck to the edge of his brow. I frowned slightly. My gaze drifted downward, and I noticed the lipstick he hadn't fully wiped off his lips, and his hand, tightly interlocked with Julia's. He led her toward me. There was struggle in his eyes, but more than that, relief. Stella, I could never fall in love with a substitute. Do you know? As long as she's standing there, you've already lost. I quietly looked at his injured brows and eyes and asked, "Does it hurt?" The corners of my eyes turned slightly red. He froze for a moment. Then he looked away, avoiding my concern and sentencing our relationship to death. Stella, you're strong and brave. You'll be fine without me. But Julia is fragile and pitiful. She can't make it without me. You've seen it yourself. I only ever treated you as a replacement. I lifted my eyelids slightly and looked at him calmly. So, you want to break up? He pulled Julia closer, a faint smile forming on his lips. Julia and I have over 10 years of history. We share the most beautiful memories. Now that she's back, no one can compare to her. I watched the way he looked at someone else with those affectionate eyes. His brows and eyes were injured. Looking closely, he didn't resemble him that much anymore. Besides, he would never kiss another woman. He would never bring another woman just to disgust me. He would never humiliate me like this in public. I pressed a hand lightly against my chest. It hurt a little. All right, then let's break up. I stood up. I wish you both happiness. What do you mean? Gabriel frowned. as if he had misheard. You're just agreeing to this? I nodded. Isn't this what you wanted? He had clearly expected me to make a scene, to cry, to lose control, to prove that I couldn't let him go. He kept testing me. Stella, stop wasting your energy on me. I don't like that push and pull game. I smiled and let out a soft sigh. Gabriel, no matter how similar, he's still not him, right? He thought I was comparing myself to Julia and looked rather pleased. Julia is one of a kind in my eyes. She gets my absolute favoritism. I lowered my gaze. I used to be someone else's one and only two, afraid that my tears would fall the next second. I suppressed my emotions and walked toward the door. Gabriel paused, then called out to me again. Stella, you. I stopped. What is it? He pressed his lips together, as if trying to see some trace of heartbreak on my face. But from beginning to end, I remained calm. Are you done yet? Julia snapped tearfully. Gabriel, are you reluctant to let go of this cheap knockoff? The next second, I heard Gabriel let out a mocking laugh. Jealous? Don't you know who I like the most? I withdrew my gaze and strode away. Just as the door closed, someone asked. Gabriel, Stella seems mentally too stable. Didn't she love you to death after 5 years together? Now she just agrees to break up like that. Could she be planning some big move? I thought about it for a moment, then turned back. Gabriel's eyes lit up instantly, the corners carrying a sarcastic smile. Stella, stop making meaningless entanglements. I cut him off, took off the ring he had just put on my finger, and shoved it back into his hand. Something useless like this, I don't want it. He froze on the spot, lips parting slightly. I turned and left, blocking all his contact information. After all, he wasn't like him anymore. And to me, he was no longer of any use. Chapter 04. As I walked out, I received a provocative message from Julia. Stella, you're nothing but a substitute. Don't think you can play the retreat to advance trick and act pitiful in front of Gabriel. I stopped using that move a long time ago. Expressionless. I blocked the number. What she didn't know was that Gabriel, to me, was also just a substitute. His brows and eyes looked exactly like how I imagined Oliver would have grown up to look. At the beginning, I actually felt guilty, so even if he wanted the stars from the sky, I would have found a way to get them for him. Especially when it came to his face, I was terrified it might get hurt. So I treated him with extreme care, cherishing him, taking care of him as if he were someone else, trying to make up for my regrets. His friends didn't like me. They always spoke badly of me behind my back, but I didn't care at all. In fact, I almost wished Gabriel would treat me worse. That way, I wouldn't feel so guilty. Later, one time, I went to pick him up when he was drunk. I saw him holding his phone, calling out Julia to the photo on the screen. He grabbed my chin and murmured brokenly, Stella, she's not as good as you. That's when I understood. He didn't love me either. No one was more noble than the other. I just envied him a little. He got to wait for the person he wanted. And she came back. The person I was waiting for had already died. Not even a body was left behind. Chapter 05. I wanted to go back and see him. While packing my things, I turned around and bumped into the coffee table. A necklace fell out from the bottom shelf. I picked it up. It was the kind of old-fashioned necklace from years ago, with a round pendant. I opened it. Inside was a tiny photo. A quiet, gentle girl leaning against a languid, carefree boy. 18. It felt like it had just happened yesterday. Yet in the blink of an eye, 10 years had already passed. Silently, I put it away and wore it around my neck. At my parents' graves, I placed flowers, burned paper offerings, and spoke a few words. Then, suppressing the ache in my chest, I slowly moved to the grave beside them. On it was Oliver's name. It was a grave I had built for him, because after his death, he wasn't allowed to have a tombstone. It was to protect his family, but I wasn't afraid. I didn't want to forget him. And in my family, I was the only one left. Sometimes, I even wished someone would take me away too, so I could be reunited with them. I poured him a glass of wine and raised it toward the empty air. But when I spoke, my voice choked. Oliver, I'm here. Year after year, it's already been 8 years since you left. I listened to you and held on for 8 years. Isn't that impressive? I reached up to wipe my tears, then gently traced the engraved name on the tombstone. I've come this far, so can you come back and see me, just once? The only answer I received was the distant sound of insects chirping. Chapter 06. I stayed in my hometown for a few days. That night, I received a photo from one of Gabriel's friends. Julia was leaning delicately against him. Gabriel lifted her chin, their posture intimate. What would happen next didn't need to be said. Right after that, a voice message popped up. It was Gabriel's teasing voice. Stella? Who's that? There wasn't a single ripple in my heart. Calmly, I deleted all of Gabriel's friends' contact information from my phone. Then I curled up on the sofa and sniffed quietly. Oliver, I miss you so much. Wait for me, okay? Once I finish what I need to do, I'll go back home and stay with you, all right? But when I returned, I saw Gabriel. He was leaning against my doorway, half a cigarette between his fingers, the ember flickering against the backlight. A shadow fell across his face. When he saw me, he crushed the cigarette and walked toward me with long strides. Feeling bold now? You blocked me? But there was a faint hint of satisfaction and pleasure in his tone, as if he thought this was me being jealous. I took 2 steps back, but he blocked me again. What are you hiding from? You think I'm going to eat you? I didn't know why he had come to find me. I frowned slightly. Gabriel, we've already broken up. So where did you run off to cry these past few days? His teasing disbelief made it clear he was certain that someone who loved him so desperately couldn't let go so easily. And you even deleted all their contacts. Looks like your temper's grown quite a bit. When his hand was about to touch my face, I turned my head to avoid it. Maybe my rejection irritated him. He suddenly stepped forward, trapping me between the wall and himself. The pressure was overwhelming. I smiled faintly. Gabriel, is going back to your ex some kind of hobby of yours? He froze slightly, then frowned. Stella, we were together for 5 years. How can you act like nothing happened after breaking up? I felt a bit puzzled. Was he the one suffering after the breakup? Didn't you love my face to death? Look, I'm injured. Why don't you feel anything at all now? Because, Gabriel, you're not like him anymore. Seeing me stay silent, he grew faintly angry. I've treated you pretty damn well all these years, haven't I? What kind of expression is that? Even if I raised a dog, it would have grown attached by now. Treating me well meant not even having the decency to break up first. Instead, bringing another woman in front of me to humiliate me? It meant deliberately leaking news of proposing to me, waiting for 2 women to fight over him? I lifted my head and met his gaze, smiling slightly. Gabriel, does Julia know you came to see me? He froze for a moment, taking the chance. I crouched down and slipped out of his hold. I walked forward, but his long arm stopped me again. His voice turned low. Stella, every time you look at me, I get this strange feeling, like you're not looking at me, but at someone else. So what is it you actually like, this face of mine? Or me as a person? Chapter 07. Yes, aside from his face, I never loved him. The only person I ever loved was Oliver. When I was 12, my mom remarried and married Oliver's father. Oliver was 1 year older than me, clean-cut and bright, the kind of boy with a gentle, fair appearance. When my mom and I first moved into their house, he stood in the sunlight, smiling warmly, and ruffled my hair. Welcome, little Stella, to our home. Big brother will always protect you. Those were the happiest 3 years of my life. I had a father, a mother, and a brother. It was, truly, truly wonderful. But fate has always liked to play cruel jokes. One night, when our parents were driving home after working late, they were attacked. Their car was stolen. Later, the case was solved. It was a group of drug traffickers. They had already fled overseas, and my parents never came back. That was the darkest summer of mine and Oliver's lives. All at once, we lost the 2 most important people to us. After handling the funeral, Oliver seemed to grow up overnight. At that time, I was terrified. I didn't know what to do. If I went back, no one would want me, and Oliver and I weren't related by blood. He had no reason to keep me. While I was drowning in worry, Oliver opened my door. He wiped away my tears, sat by my bed, and gently pulled me into his arms. Don't be afraid, little Stella. Your brother is still here. I cried so hard in his arms that I could barely speak. Don't leave me, brother. I won't leave you. And so, the two of us began living, depending on each other. Those days were unbearably hard. He forced himself to grow, from a fair, clean boy into a mature man. He worked desperately to make money, taking on any dangerous job. Every night, I would leave the lights on at home, waiting for him to come back. More than once, I fell asleep while studying late into the night. When I woke up in the morning, I would already be lying in bed. When I stepped out, breakfast would be ready, and he would wave at me. Come try it, your brother made something new. Eat more, okay? You'll look better if you gain a little weight. That's when I suddenly realized we had both slowly grown up. And when I faced him, there was already a sense of shyness and a flutter in my heart. I hid it well. He didn't know. Chapter 08. In the final semester of my senior year, he began fully preparing for the college entrance exam. After the exam, he got into the police academy, just as he had hoped. The day he received his admission letter, we went together to visit our parents' graves. He didn't speak for a long time. In the end, he just poured himself a glass of wine and drank it silently. I knew he had something he wanted to do. No one could stop him. I simply held his hand tightly, tears in my eyes, and told him I would always be there. The change in our relationship probably began during my senior year of high school. His university was in the provincial capital, a 4-hour train ride from our small town. He was worried I would be scared living alone, so he would video call me all night. While I did my homework, he would just watch me. When I stretched or took a break, he would chat with me for a bit. Whenever he could spare the time, he would come back to see me. I would go to the station to pick him up, and we'd buy groceries together, cook, eat, watch TV, and take walks by the riverside. I listened to him talk about his training, and he listened to me complain about problems I couldn't solve. Those ordinary yet happy little moments strung together my final year of studying for the entrance exam. But I became greedy. I didn't want to be just his little sister. One summer night, with a gentle breeze in the air, we sat on the sofa watching TV. I turned and held his hand. Oliver, can you not get a girlfriend? HM? He lowered his head to look at our hands. Only then did I realize his hand was so warm, even warmer than my racing heart. I want to be. Before I could finish, I hesitated. I was afraid he would reject me, afraid he would say I was just his sister. As I tried to pull my hand back, he held it tighter instead. Be what? I pressed my lips together. He interlocked his fingers with mine and pulled me into his arms. Confessions aren't supposed to come from the girl first. I don't want to be just your brother anymore either. How about giving me a chance to be promoted to your boyfriend? From that moment on, we were no longer just family. We became lovers. Chapter 09. Stella. Say something. Gabriel raised his voice, pulling me out of my memories. His hands gripped my shoulders, the force so strong it felt like he wanted to crush me. I looked at the scabbed wound near his brow and suddenly felt a deep sense of unfamiliarity. I broke free from his hold and spoke slowly. Yes, Gabriel, I don't love you. Your scar looks ugly. You look ugly when you lose your temper. You don't resemble him at all anymore. Gabriel seemed to hear the biggest joke in the world. He froze for a moment, then curled his lips into a smirk. Stella, do you even know what the hell you're saying? I stepped forward, not wanting to get entangled with him, but he grabbed my wrist again. Stella, make it clear, what exactly do you mean? I turned back and smiled faintly. It means, Gabriel, while you were using me as a substitute, I was also using you as someone else's substitute. Are you satisfied with that answer? The righteous anger on his face froze. I could even feel his hand trembling slightly as he held me. Just as I was about to pull away, Julia suddenly appeared behind me and slapped me across the face. She used all her strength. My cheek burned with pain. Stella, how shameless are you? Seducing someone else's boyfriend? Her gaze was full of disgust and malice. You think just because you look a bit like me, you can take my place? You're nothing but a cheap knockoff. I'm warning you, don't even think about Before she could finish, I used all my strength and slapped her back. At the same time, I slapped Gabriel too. Control your woman. Don't let her bark everywhere. Julia didn't expect me to hit her. She stared at me blankly for a second, then screamed, "Stella, I'm going to kill you." As she lunged at me, Gabriel wrapped his arms around her from behind, stopping her. Julia looked at him with tears in her eyes. "Gabriel, what are you doing?" I walked over and grabbed her chin hard. She cursed at me in pain. I leaned closer, my gaze cold as ice. "Don't provoke me. You know I have no parents. I'm an orphan. When it comes down to it, who kills who isn't certain." "Gabriel, are you going to do something or not?" she cried through her tears. I glanced at Gabriel. He still seemed stuck on what I said about substitutes, staring at me quietly with emotions I couldn't understand. But that had nothing to do with me anymore. As I inserted the key into the lock, I heard Gabriel's mocking voice. "Stella, when have I ever ignored you and you didn't come clinging back to me? Now you come up with some lousy excuse, trying to draw a line between us? Ask yourself, can you really do it?" I paused for a moment and replied, "I can. I'm telling you, don't regret this. I won't go easy on you this time." "Gabriel, what do you mean? Do you like her now?" Julia's voice trembled. I opened the door and walked inside, shutting out their argument completely. Chapter 10. From that day on, I officially stepped out of Gabriel's world. I no longer cared about anything related to him. I no longer went everywhere to pick him up and take him home. I no longer tirelessly reminded him to take care of himself, especially his face. Strangely enough, after I did all that, those friends of his who used to dislike me started texting and calling me one by one, probing for my reaction. I hung up on all of them. Sometimes, through the phone, I could hear the sound of Gabriel smashing a wine glass. I ignored it all. After finishing my work, I went to see Dr. Oscar again. "Have you been taking your medication on time lately?" I nodded obediently. "Yes." "Any tendencies towards self-harm?" I subconsciously clenched my hands and shook my head. "No, I haven't hurt myself in a long time. After Oliver died, I could never dream of him." Later, when I felt like I couldn't hold on anymore, I used a small knife to cut my arm. That day, in the dizziness from blood loss, I finally saw him. After confirming our relationship, Oliver and I had the happiest 2 years. That summer, after finishing his part-time job, he would come pick me up every night. And so, we held hands and slowly walked home together. Later, we attended university in the same city. After sending me to school, he slipped a bank card into my hand and told me not to skip meals, that I was getting too skinny. I didn't want it and pushed it back to him. I've grown up already. I earned enough for tuition by tutoring and working at a milk tea shop. I can cover the rest with part-time jobs. I knew how hard he had it. I didn't want to become his burden, but he wouldn't listen. His expression turned serious. "Why are you being polite with me? I've raised you for years. Have I ever thought of you as a burden?" I shook my head. "Be good. Take it. I have more ways to earn money than you do." When I checked the ATM later, there was a full 100,000 in it. It stunned me for a long time. I messaged him, "Why did you give me so much? I'm afraid you'll suffer, afraid that if I'm not by your side, you won't take care of yourself. I don't know if it's enough for 4 years, but it's okay. Your brother can always earn more. If it's not enough, just tell me." We were both busy making money, busy growing up. Whenever I had free time, I would go to his school. I accompanied him during training, ate meals with him. Between us, there were no dramatic, earth-shaking moments, only a steady, gentle flow of everyday life. I embraced it naturally, while secretly hoping that we could stay like that, year after year. Chapter 11. After Oliver finished his sophomore year, we returned to our hometown to visit our parents. That day, Oliver spoke very little for once. He stood alone by the cliff for a long time, letting the wind blow over him. I knew he was about to go on a mission. He had always wanted to avenge our parents. When we came back that day, he held me tightly and said, "Live well, grow up strong." I gripped his hand. "We'll grow up together. I'll wait for you. Don't wait." He stroked my hair, his breath brushing against my ear. his voice low and strained. Don't wait. We always have to prepare for the worst. If I don't come back, you have to keep living for our whole family. More than anyone, we want you to be happy. We want you to keep moving forward. Even if you find someone new, your brother won't blame you. I just want someone to be by your side. Someone who cares about you. As long as you're alive, there's hope. When we parted, I raised my hands, holding back my tears as I said to him, I don't want to wish you endless victories. I just want you to pass through danger and come back safely. Stella, when I return, I'll marry you. He promised. But after that mission, he never came back. 3 years later, I finally received the news he had died in the line of duty. One of Oliver's comrades found me and said he had successfully infiltrated the enemy. In that major international drug trafficking case, he detonated a bomb and perished together with them. Before leaving, he handed me a small notebook, Oliver's, with tears in my eyes. I opened it. Stella, in this life, everyone has a mission they must fulfill. If I'm lucky, I'll come back and marry you right away. You cry so easily, don't ruin your face with tears when the time comes. If I don't come back, please forgive my selfishness. Perhaps this is how life was always meant to end. And remember, your brother loves you. Oliver loves you even more. And I hope you can carry our hopes and keep moving forward. Keep going forward. But in this world, I'm the only one left alone. And isn't that, in itself, a kind of suffering? Later, I couldn't hold on anymore. Despicably, I used Gabriel as a substitute. Looking at that similar face was the only way I could gather the courage to keep going a little longer, because I was afraid that when I went to the other side, Oliver would blame me for not listening, for not moving forward. But I should have understood long ago. No one could ever replace him. Chapter 12. When I opened my eyes, sunlight streamed through the window, stinging them. I raised my hand to wipe the dampness on my face and tightened my grip on the necklace around my neck. Stella, your current state worries me even more. I shook my head. I'm already doing well. I broke up with him on my own, and I didn't even cry. Dr. Oscar spoke gently. When a long-term emotional anchor suddenly disappears, it's easy for problems to arise. As a doctor, I'm glad to see you step out of that unhealthy relationship, but I still suggest you take it slowly. I touched the scar on my wrist and smiled faintly. Dr. Oscar, don't worry about me. I'm ready to start a new life. I lied. This time, I came back planning to donate all my savings and deal with the house, then return to my hometown, trap myself in the past, stay by my parents' and Oliver's graves, and just keep living. As I was leaving, Dr. Oscar called out to me, Stella, don't force yourself. If you can't move forward, then go slowly. You'll eventually find a way out. Okay, Dr. Oscar, I've already found my way out. Chapter 13. After donating to the charity, I returned home only to find my door open. There were sounds of smashing inside, and a sharp, choking smell of smoke. Panic surged through me as I rushed in, and then I saw Julia standing in my living room. Beside her were those friends of Gabriel who used to mock me. On the walls of my living room, every photo of Oliver. They had been burned. Not a single one left. You came back earlier than I expected. Julia stood there smugly, watching my shattered expression with excitement. I didn't understand. I had already withdrawn from her and Gabriel's lives, so why wouldn't she leave me alone? She pulled out a photo from behind her. It was a family portrait taken when I was 15. Oliver's father had brought us all to take it together. I reached out to grab it. She dodged me. Stella, unless you kneel down and apologize to me, weren't you so arrogant that day? You're just a substitute. How dare you hit me? You really thought I was joking, didn't you? My tears fell in large drops, my whole body trembling. That was our only family photo. Not long after it was taken, our parents died. After we became a family, Oliver's father and Oliver treated me so well, always putting me first in everything. They even said that in this family, I had a kind of love that was one of a kind. Every day, Oliver's father would bring me little gifts when he came home. A candied hawthorn stick, a box of chocolates, a cute-shaped cotton candy. All the love I had lacked before the age of 12, this family gave it to me. No one called me an orphan without a father anymore. But maybe the heavens thought I was too happy, so they took all that love away. When Oliver and I sorted through his father's belongings, we found a note in his memo. Stella wants cake from that shop in South City today. After finishing work with my wife, remember to bring it back for her. He had even set a reminder alarm, but that alarm never rang again. Sometimes, I miss them so much, but they knew I was afraid of the dark, afraid of ghosts, so they never came to my dreams. Not once. Chapter 14. Julia, give the photo back to me. My voice choked, pleading. She tore the family photo apart, her tone vicious. After Gabriel went back that day, he's been completely distracted, obsessing over how you treated him like a substitute. He stares at your photo on his phone, calls your name when he's drunk. You're just my substitute. What right do you have? I looked into it and found something interesting. Stella, aren't you disgusting? You actually like your own brother. Disgusting? That word stabbed straight into me. She kept going. How could anyone fall in love with their own brother? If you love him so much, why don't you just die? And you even went and found a substitute. How hilarious. Why don't you just die? Those words echoed in my mind, over and over. My hands trembled. It felt as if all the blood in my body had frozen. Oliver, would you despise me? Would you think I'm filthy? How could I find a substitute for you? I defiled you. How could I deserve to live? I don't deserve it. Will you never forgive me again? Out of the corner of my eye, I saw the fruit knife on the coffee table. I walked toward it numbly, but Julia suddenly shouted, "What are you all standing around for? If she dies here, none of us will get away with it." My hands were grabbed. I struggled desperately, tears blurring my vision. Let me go. Let me go. I need to atone. Hold her down. She can't get off that easily by dying. In the struggle, the necklace around my neck snapped and rolled onto the floor. Chapter 15. The necklace. Oliver was still inside the necklace. I couldn't lose him again. I lunged forward and bit down on their hands. They cried out in pain and let go of me. But just as I rushed over, Julia was already one step ahead. She stepped on it. It shattered. Shattered. My tears burst out uncontrollably. My mind buzzed, ringing endlessly. That had been the last complete photo. Oliver. I'm so useless, so incapable. I couldn't even protect something that belonged to you. At last, I lost control. Rage flooded my entire body. I slapped Julia across the face and grabbed her by the throat. How dare you? What right do you have to touch my things? She coughed violently, her face turning red. Why, you're crazy. Stella, let go of me. Cough. Let you go? Would that bring my photo back? A blazing fury surged in my chest, tightening my grip bit by bit. Julia could no longer even cough. Her face turned a deep, suffocating red. But someone rushed forward from behind and pulled me away, saving her. Once released, Julia collapsed where she stood, coughing uncontrollably. I ignored her. I rushed into the burning pile, searching for the photo. It was scorching. Shards of glass stabbed into my legs beneath my feet. I paid no attention, reaching in, digging through the flames. But the moment I touched anything, it crumbled into ash. It was gone, gone. When Gabriel came in, this was what he saw. I was kneeling on a pile of broken glass, feeling no pain at all. My hands were burned and swollen, still desperately searching through the fire. After taking in the wreckage, he rushed over and pulled me into his arms. Stella, calm down. How could I calm down? I broke down completely, sobbing. Why did they have to do this to me? Everything I held on to was gone. Let go, let go. I struggled wildly in Gabriel's arms, trying to break free. Hysterical. Tears fell one after another. My whole body trembled. Stop crying. Who is worth this much to you? Huh? You've never cried like this for me. He held me tightly, his hand gently patting my back over and over. Stella, you're always so strong, so calm. Who can make you cry like this? Please, stop crying, okay? It hurts me to see you like this. Don't you know why she's crying? Gabriel, you're just a substitute too. Julia kicked the broken necklace toward him. Gabriel bent down to pick it up, and then he saw it, the boy in the photo, with brows and eyes so similar to his own. His hand began to tremble uncontrollably. Chapter 16. Gabriel. Look at her, she doesn't love you at all. Julia rushed up to him, her voice sharp. You think she stayed by your side willingly for 5 years? Why do you think that was? It's because she was using you as a substitute. She has someone she actually loves. Shut the hell up. I don't want to hear it. Gabriel roared at her. Get out, now. Gabriel. I'm your true love. And you're yelling at me for this woman? Julia's voice choked with tears. What does she even have that's so special? How can you treat me like this? I already looked into it. That man is her brother. How disgusting is that? Falling in love with your own brother. A twisted smile spread across her face. But it's fine. He's dead anyway. Serves him right. She's the kind of woman who deserves to be unloved. Serves him right? In an instant, my blood surged. No one had the right to speak about my Oliver, about my brother. I didn't know where the strength came from. I broke free from Gabriel's hold, saw the fruit knife on the coffee table, and grabbed it, rushing toward Julia. But unfortunately, Gabriel stepped in front of her. The knife plunged into his shoulder. He snatched it away and threw it aside. Then he pressed both hands on my shoulders. Stella, calm down. He's already dead. Even if you kill her, he won't come back. A loud buzzing filled my head. I covered my ears. Stop talking. Just get out, both of you. But Gabriel's voice still reached me. Stella, face reality. He's already gone. Keeping all this will only bring you more pain. Only when you let go can you move forward. I remembered what Dr. Oscar had said. When a long-term emotional anchor disappears, it's easy for problems to arise. Stella, the dead cannot come back to life. It felt like something inside me was slowly slipping away. I had nothing left. My parents were gone. Oliver was gone. Then why was I still alive? Gabriel was still saying something. I couldn't hear it anymore. I only stared numbly at the bright red blood flowing from his arm, just like the first time I hurt myself. Dizziness overtook me, and this time, I saw Oliver again. I hid the scars on my wrist and waved at him. Are you here to take me with you? Brother, this time. Don't leave me behind, okay? Chapter 17. I had a very long dream. In the dream, Oliver came back, dressed in black. He leaned under a street lamp. Look, little Stella, who's back? Your brother won't leave you anymore. I ran into his arms, crying uncontrollably. He held me gently. Why are you crying? I'm still here. He softly stroked my hair, just like the day he left. I'm happy to see you living well, growing up strong. He told me he had completed his mission, that he had avenged our parents and escaped death by faking it. Our Stella has worked so hard all these years. He kissed my forehead. I shook my head. How could I possibly have suffered more than him? Then he took me to see our parents, facing the wind. He said, you can rest in peace now. Stella and I still have a future. Don't worry, this family still has someone left. With every word he spoke, tears streamed down my face. Dad. Mom, you can come visit me in my dreams now. I have so much I want to tell you. He wiped away my tears. The mission is complete. I promised I would come back and marry you. Are you still willing to marry me? Chapter 18. Yes. I'm willing. But why was his face becoming more and more blurred? Why was his figure turning transparent? Oliver, don't go, okay? I woke up crying, only to see Gabriel sitting by my bedside. He held my hand tightly. Did you have a nightmare? You've been unconscious for 7 days. I'll call the doctor. He turned and walked out. I just stared blankly at the ceiling. So, it was only a dream. He didn't come to take me away. The one who came was the family doctor. Gabriel had locked me inside his villa in the suburbs. Stella, your condition isn't very good right now. Only keeping you here puts my mind at ease. What he called peace of mind meant restricting my freedom, taking away my phone, cutting off all contact with the outside world, and imprisoning me. I looked at him with empty eyes. No matter what he said, I wouldn't respond. He didn't get angry either. He peeled fruit for me, fed me, told me stories. I just quietly gazed out the window, imagining whether Oliver had become an angel, appearing there, waving at me. Sometimes, when the weather was nice, Gabriel would wheel me outside to sit in the sun. As for what happened that day, I didn't ask anything, because I was already planning my revenge. So I refused to take medicine, refused checkups. I protested his confinement in silence, until one day, Gabriel finally couldn't take it anymore. He grabbed my hand and pressed it against his forehead. His voice hoarse. "Stella, please, say something, okay? Stop torturing yourself." Torturing myself? I didn't think so. When I closed my eyes, I could see Oliver. When I woke up, I could imagine our life after marriage. Why should I talk to someone irrelevant? Stella, what's the point of this? He's been dead for 5 years. Are you going to live like a ghost forever? My silence angered Gabriel. He let go of my hand and raised his voice. Stella, we were together for 5 years too. You just let me go like that, just like that. You walked away. How could you? Do you even have a heart? My eyes shifted slightly as I looked at him. You treated me as a substitute too. If I don't have a heart, do you? Gabriel, I don't understand you. What exactly do you want? Why are you keeping me here? He kicked over a chair violently. What the hell do you think I want? I've fallen in love with you. Ridiculous, right? I fell in love with a substitute. Oh, so that was it. He thought it was unfair. Why was it that we were both substitutes, yet he fell in love with me, and I didn't love him? I looked at him quietly. But I don't love you. Not once have I ever felt anything for you. Before I could finish, he had already left the room. Chapter 19. Gabriel came back again as if nothing had happened. Feeding me. Your house has already been redecorated. It's been restored to how it used to be. He had never even been to my house. How could he possibly restore it? He handed me a tablet. I glanced at it. The photo wall in the living room was back. The walls were filled with photos. Photos of Gabriel and me. But over all these years, I had never taken photos with him. So, they were edited. I suddenly threw the tablet at him, my whole body trembling. What right do you have to touch my house? The edge of the case scraped against the scar on his brow, and it began to bleed again. He just wiped it casually, staring at the shattered tablet on the floor, and smiled. Stella, we have plenty of time. Don't we? If 1 year or 2 isn't enough, then 3, 5, 10, I have all the time in the world to spend on you. Gabriel, are you sick? Yes, you're sick. And I'm sick. We're a perfect match. He had gone mad. Look, you're reacting emotionally. I'm very happy. Stella, you'll slowly forget everything. And then, we'll start over. He watched my agitation like a perverse spectacle. Gabriel, tell me, what do you actually want? Tears slipped through my fingers. A sense of helplessness overwhelmed me. He curled his lips and reached out to wipe my tears. I think you already know what I want. I avoided his touch. I want your heart. Chapter 20. My heart had already been given to someone else. Stella, it can't be this unfair. I thought when Julia came back and I left you, I'd be happy. But when I saw you walk away so decisively, all I felt was irritation. I took her to meet people, tried to relive our memories, but all I could think of was you. Once you left my life, I couldn't sleep at all. I looked into your Oliver. I was driven mad by jealousy. How can a dead man have all of you? He gently touched my face. Stella, I'm just that kind of terrible person. I've fallen in love with you, so you have to fall in love with me too. He was insane. I closed my eyes. After a long silence, I finally spoke slowly. Gabriel, I'll focus on getting better. I'll consider what you said. When he heard that, he hugged me, gently patting my back again and again. Stella, you'll forget everything. Only then can we have a future. I reached out and hugged him back. Wait for me, okay? Okay. From that day on, I cooperated with him in my recovery. I took the medicine I was supposed to take. I did the checkups I was supposed to do. I tried my best to act like I was slowly returning to normal. I carefully played along, pretending to gradually accept him. He would hold me on the sofa while we watched movies. He would cook for me. He would even pick out wedding dresses. Look, do you like this designer's work? I looked quietly and nodded. It's beautiful. Then I played along. It suits me. He finally smiled, satisfied. I'll have the designer come over and take your measurements sometime. I nodded obediently. Okay, Stella. I messed up the last proposal. I won't this time. Just like all those times before. When I played the role of a substitute, I was quiet, obedient, agreeable, with the occasional harmless bit of temper. That made it more convincing, didn't it? Until, after 2 months of being confined, I finally found the moment when he let his guard down. That day, Gabriel came back drunk, holding me and murmuring, "Stella, I can't do anything to Julia. Can you understand my situation?" I didn't respond. I gave him a glass of water with something added to it. Using his face, I unlocked his phone. Then I sent away the people guarding the villa, turned off the phone, and threw it aside. Finally, I tied him up tightly on the bed. I also wrote an anonymous report to the authorities, including all the evidence I had collected over the years about his company's tax evasion. The housekeeper only came once every 2 days. By the time she found him, I would have already finished what I needed to do. Illegal detention, tax evasion. He could look forward to prison. As I was leaving, Gabriel was still murmuring in his sleep, "Stella, can you love me, even a little?" I smiled faintly. "Gabriel, I don't love you, not even a little." Then I took my things and closed the door behind me. Chapter 21. I was finally out. I had someone abduct Julia. My revenge had to be carried out by my own hands. Her hands and feet were tied behind her. I tore the tape off her mouth. She immediately screamed, "Stella, you crazy bitch. What are you trying to do? Let me go right now, or you'll regret it." I slapped her across the face, grabbing her by the collar. I dragged her in front of Oliver's grave. "You destroyed the things that belonged to the person I loved most. I have to return it in kind." This place was desolate, deep in the hills, hardly anyone ever passed by. Julia finally felt fear, but she still spoke defiantly. "Stella, you should be the one to die. Why is it that we grew up together, yet in the end he fell in love with you? We were childhood sweethearts. I was only gone for 5 years. What do you have that I don't?" And somehow I became a tool for him to provoke another woman. He actually gave me up, for a bitch like you. She laughed hysterically, then glared at me with vicious hatred. "You orphan, a nobody, a jinx. Ha ha ha. You're the one who killed your whole family. They were so unlucky to have you." I took out a fruit knife. Without expression, I drove it into her foot. "You stepped on my necklace." She screamed in pain, her face twisted, bursting into tears. "You're insane. A psycho." I pinned down her hand and pressed the sharp heel of my shoe onto her fingers, grinding back and forth. "You tore apart my family photo. You burned Oliver's pictures." She shrieked. "Ah, Stella, I'll kill you." I slapped her again. She tried to speak. I kept slapping her, until blood seeped from the corner of her mouth, until she stopped saying a single word, only staring at me with venom in her eyes. I smiled faintly, the knife sliding from her neck down toward her heart. "I wish I could kill you." She was too terrified to speak. I mimicked her expression from before and smiled. "Are you scared now? Now it's your turn to kneel and apologize. Weren't you so arrogant before?" Julia's eyes filled with tears. Faced with someone like me, calm, yet completely unhinged, anything could happen. She was afraid. She knelt on the ground, her forehead pressed into the dirt. "I'm sorry. Please don't kill me." Her voice trembled, fear overwhelming her. I grabbed her collar and dragged her toward Oliver's grave. "Say it to him." Her once perfect makeup was gone. Tears, dirt, and blood mixed together, leaving her in utter disarray. She cried out hoarsely, "I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry, it's my fault." Only when she suffered like I did could it count as an apology. As long as I didn't tell her to stop, she kept repeating it, until the sun rose, until her voice gave out completely. Then I let her go, not because I was kind, but because Oliver was a hero. I didn't want him to carry even the slightest stain because of me. Yet after exhausting all my strength, I suddenly realized I was the stain. Chapter 22. Silence returned once more. The mountain breeze was gentle, stirring the wild grass on the ground. It brushed past my hair. The mist over the distant mountains slowly dispersed. Spring returned to the earth. Birds flew back to their nests. If you come back, we'll go home together. If you don't, then I'll come to you. I lay down in the grave I had already dug. Beside me was the note I had prepared. Do not investigate. This is my own choice. I'm sorry for causing trouble to this world. As I swallowed the pills, the sunlight still shone warmly on my face. Before my consciousness faded, I finally saw Oliver's face clearly. Before, in my dreams, it had always been blurry. But this time, it was perfectly clear, just like I remembered. He would always remain young. I gazed at his brows and eyes greedily. I wanted to speak, but my eyes were already filled with tears. I wanted to ask, "Brother, are you angry that I didn't listen to you? That I didn't live well?" I also wanted to ask, "Oliver, I had another boyfriend. Do you despise me for it?" And I wanted to say, "You're so good. I don't deserve you. I'll go on my own." But when I opened my mouth, nothing came out, only choking sobs. He parted the mist and walked toward me step by step, just like the first time we met, gently ruffling my hair. His voice was clear, his smile bright. "Little Stella, I'm here. These past years must have been so hard, right? I promised I would come back to marry you." With tears in my eyes, I held his hand tightly. "Oliver, I'm finally reunited with all of you. That's so wonderful."